Hi, I'm Jim Gordon.
And I'm Lita Leapins.
And welcome to another edition of Our City Tonight.
Well, we're here at the wonderful new Parker rooftop. And in just a little while, Jim is going to be attending what, Jim?
Well, the VIP party, hence the tie.
Yes, you're not exactly lounging like
I am not, actually. Now, we should mention, if you're a regular viewer of the show, the Parker Rooftop is part of the Executive Table Group family. Filmed at many of the other places like Alouette Bistro,
and Seaside Provisions, as well as Freebird out in Richmond, as well as in Squamish.
And of course, one of our regular locations where we do a lot of our show shooting is at Hedra. So this is their new spot.
It is beautiful, and lucky you.
Well, we'll get to the VIP rooftop party a little later in the show, but let's get going with Our City Tonight.
He's been part of the local as well as Canadian and American TV and film landscape for over 40 years. It's such a pleasure to welcome Gary CHEK, award-winning actor, to Our City Tonight.
Well, thank you very much.
Great to have you, sir. We could take up an hour talking about what you've done over the last 4 decades.
Oh my God.
For me, if I could sum you up, and this is my opinion, but I love character actors, and I mean that as a compliment to you. I think character actors are the basis, like the base of most film and TV, that they're there, and they go back to Claude Rains and Lionel Barrymore and even Gene Hackman. I put you in that category.
Yes, I've been a character actor for a long, long time, and it's like being the buddy or the partner or the husband or the widow or whatever. And I find that you're just as much a part of the picture as the lead, because there's what do they say, no small parts, just small actors, right?
Oh,
but
totally.
I've done a lot of different programs, and I find that's very interesting because I get to play a lot of different parts. I mean, gotta say, I played a lot of cops, played a lot of generals, played a lot of this, a lot of that. But now, now at this stage of my game, I'm playing a lot more different, a lot more interesting characters that are a lot of fun. Not to say that those ones in the past weren't interesting; they were always fun, but always treat them like gold.
Yeah.
No matter what it is.
Well, you're always the pivotal guy, and you enter the picture and something changes. I mean, I've watched a lot of your stuff, of course, and what fascinated me is that you're in horror, you're in westerns, you're in rom-coms, you're in Christmas movies. You cover everything, and you just sort of morph into it. Plus your wonderful voice. You've done a lot of anime voiceovers, but you've won lots of awards too, and one of them is Cold Squad.
Cold Squad, yeah.
Yeah, 4 years recurring role. You won 2 Geminis for that show.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that experience.
Well, Cold Squad it was funny because in the initial run, I wasn't cast, and then in second season, I believe it's the second season, they called me in to read for this inspector. And I thought it was, again, like I always do, I thought it was just a one-off. I had no idea that I was going to be there for almost 70 shows, I think. And it was a character I just fell in love with because he was the right combination of dad, good guy, stern leader and cop. He was and a father as well as and a husband, and it was a well-rounded character. And I remember one episode where Julie Stewart, who was the star, she says, "I wish they would give you an episode where we see this guy the best." And they did that, and I just went, man, this is one of those shows that you dream about, that you just love, and you love all the people that you work with. And I did win. I won the Gemini twice in a row on that show for the same character, and it was just a real uplifting kind of feeling to me.
Let's talk about 2 of your newest movies. We just saw you in Exile because we were up at Whistler Film Fest with our good friend Camille Sullivan, as well as Adam Beach. And the newest one, Disquiet, that my little vice is some of the supernatural and scary ones. Let's start with Disquiet, because tell us about working on a crazy kind of horror film like that. How do you enjoy that?
Well, first off, we shot at Riverview,
That's scary enough. That's good
which
to
is
know.
creepy enough.
Oh, yes.
And it takes place inside a hospital that seems to be empty of people except for demons and scary people. And there are a lot of people that you wonder why they're there and what's going on. And this poor fellow has had a head injury and he can't seem to find the exit, and he's going around and he sees his wife and then she disappears and she comes to visit him, then she's gone. He's going, how do I get out of here? And my part is it's kind of like his mentor, his guide through this thing. We've got to go to the roof. We've got to get to the roof. And he said, well, what are all these things? What are all these things? And well, we don't know. And then I don't want to give away, I don't want to give away anything, but basically I play a kind of a guide for him to get through this whole thing with his head trauma. And
Very spooky.
it's very exciting.
All right. Until next time, we're going to have you on again.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Gary.
it.
Pleasure. Well, we're back here at the Parker rooftop, and what you're looking at is a fantastic red carpet entrance into one of the summer's hottest parties. It's the VIP launch for the Parker rooftop. Everyone is patiently waiting in line to get their photos on the red carpet, and they're all waiting to get up to where I am right now. I'm here in the Parker, beautiful part of this lovely location. It's quiet right now because everybody is making their way to the patio where we're going to go right now. Well, he was on our last episode talking with Lita at Hydra, kind of a preview of cocktails.
Yep.
Now we're at the place that you are calling home now. You talked to Lita about some of the cocktails. Let's talk a little more about that and some of the other great options you have here at Parker Rooftop.
Yes, well, thank you again for having me. And
You're on the show more than I am, for God's sake.
yeah, exactly. I show off quite often. So yeah, the cocktail program here. So we're really wanting to go with summertime feel. So a lot of our cocktails are kind of tiki inspired, but also that really fresh, vibrant, fruit flavor, fruit forward idea.
Yeah.
So we do have one which we serve in a fresh young coconut. And the cool thing with that one is when you finish drinking it, it also acts as dessert, so you can eat it.
Yeah.
And there's one we do. It's called the Sucker Punch, and Sucker Punch is strawberry infused Aperol, and there's lemon infused vodka. It comes with sorbet, cranberry juice. It's like extremely fruit forward, and we call it a Sucker Punch because you can't taste the alcohol, but it's the strongest one on the menu.
Oh, you better keep that away from me. Hey, I know that you're a guy that likes to mix it up. I'm loving the weather. I'm loving the patio, but part of me is really excited to see what this place will look like on a rainy Thursday early evening, right? I mean, so you'll be constantly obviously adjusting the cocktails for the season, yeah?
I always like to make my cocktail programs extremely seasonal just to kind of showcase the best of the season. So I've already started working on what the autumn menu is going to be like. And then once that's in fruition, and then it's working on what the winter menu is going to be like. So, and I love the autumn, I love the fall.
Yes.
And just one of the days when we were rushing to open this place, it happened to be a rainy day, and it's just like there was this fog line outside the window. It made everything look kind of spooky, and I fell in love with it, and I'm like, I can't wait for more of it.
I love the summer. I love the heat. Well, not this hot, but I like, but I can't wait to see this place in November on a rainy late afternoon for happy hour. Angus Porter is his name, a regular fixture on our show. I will let you get back to making some cocktails with everybody here at the Parker Rooftop. Well, joined now by a very familiar face to our show. She is the woman that is responsible, her and her team, for making us comfortable in all the locations. Claire, we, of course, film a lot at Hydra, but we've been to so many of your other locations, as I said off the top. Let our viewers know a little more about this great location. This is just a spectacular, much-needed place in Vancouver.
Yeah, I think we've just pulled off Vancouver's first real rooftop with a view of this beautiful city. So Parker Rooftop in the Parker Hotel, 120 feet above the city. 3 patios, beautiful opulent space, but we're really going for a high-end, low-key feel, somewhere comfortable for Vancouverites to come to a rooftop that they deserve.
Yeah, and we love our city, but you and I both travel a lot. We were talking about this the other night about Vancouver really needs this kind of place because you go to other cities. I was just in Sydney, for example, a couple months ago. They got 3 or 4 of these places.
For
We
sure.
need this. So you guys have clearly keyed in on this. It's a champagne bar. It's got great wines, but you also have some good food items.
Wonderful. The whole thing is, of course, being on a rooftop. The kitchen is a little less open and on a different floor than our other locations. So we're going for light bites, but it is an international feel. You can certainly come here and get fed, but a bit more of a tapas style, sliders, satés, spring rolls, dumplings, a little bit of everything for everyone to pair with champagne and beautiful cocktails and great wine.
Yeah, and I just love the sun is not here. It was out beautifully today, but we got it blocked nicely, so some nice breezes blowing through here.
We
Claire-
always have a patio with sun, though.
Yeah, oh, no,
Really
you do.
brilliant.
No, I just saw one over there, but being in a black suit, I don't really want to be in the sun.
exactly.
Okay, listen, we'll let you get back to a wonderful party and come check this great place out. Claire, thank you so much.
Thanks so much, guys. Always a pleasure.
This segment is sponsored by our friends at IGL Benefit Consultants, where the benefits are clear. We are here in Chilliwack at a wonderful neighborhood called District 1881. We are on Thunderbird Alley at a place, oh my goodness, if it were near my home, I'd be hanging out at every night. Fortitude Wine Bar is where we are, and we are now joined inside by 2 consultants from IGL Benefit Consultants. It's Shanna Jackman and Graydon Bifford. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
And I should say thank you for welcoming us here to this wonderful spot. It's great to see this area here in Chilliwack. We'll talk more about this place toward the end of the segment. But first, let's talk and explain to our viewers exactly what it is IGL does. We'll start with you first, Greg.
Okay. IGL is a full-service brokerage that specializes in employee benefits. We also do have a full investment service, estate planning, and that's one of our other companies. But IGL Benefit Consultants focuses on employee benefits, both for small, medium, and large companies.
And this is Shannon. I'll turn to you now. This is your area. You really like to meet and chat with the owners. Tell us about a little bit about what you do within this group.
Yeah, so my focus is on the smaller groups. As Graydon said, we're entirely focused on employee group benefits. Larger groups, smaller groups. I would say I even would like the micro groups where
Right.
I'm literally dealing with the owner who may or may not actually have employees. A very small demographic is my wheelhouse. That's my favorite
Okay.
place to live.
Let's talk about your first segment here, and your first topic is employee group benefits. Talk about how you go into a business and what you can present to them. Grady, back to you.
Usually our process is having a discussion around if they have a benefit program, what's been working, what's not been working. If they don't have a benefit program, it's really incumbent upon us to kind of educate them and walk them through the reasons why to have a benefit plan. There's things on talk about taxes, taxability, and then plan design.
Right.
What type of program do you want? What do you want it to do for your employees? To move back to a business that would already have a benefit plan, we're really there to get in and have a look at, again, like I said, what's been working, and make some recommendations. We're not a company that just wants to come in and just give you a price.
Right.
We want to obviously have value and to really be able to offer advice on what they should be doing.
Shannon, let's continue with that discussion. What do you see when you go into a business, big or small? What are roadblocks, or what do you hear them saying the most about? Because our viewers probably want to know, because there's probably a lot of business owners out there that think, I can't afford it. What are some of the things that you find?
Probably that's one of the first ones. I think small business assumes they're too small. I hear it all the time, and they're not. We can put plans together literally for a group of one, which is actually not a group, but in our world it is. The other thing that I hear all the time is typically a small business will have this moment where they've realized, especially if they don't have a plan already, that they need to have one, and it's always around either employee attraction or employee retention.
Right,
and
of course.
so those two issues I would say would be at the fundamental as to why the plan goes into place or should go into place. So
Interesting too, we were talking before we went on camera about that you both thought when COVID hit a few years back, it's 3 years ago, that might lead to people just cutting off, but it was the opposite. I'll stay with you for that.
okay. So yeah, if we had done this chat before COVID, I even felt that the world was shifting away from traditional plans to more providing health spending accounts and different ways of providing the benefits. During COVID, I just waited for my phone to ring for employers to say, we need to terminate the plan or suspend. We're looking at ways to cut costs. And I found that the opposite occurred. Yes, I had plans that had to put things on hold.
Right.
Maybe they had to shut down, maybe the cash flow was an issue. But what I found was this move towards concern for employees almost in a new and a refreshed way. So I found benefit plans, and there are ways that the insurers have responded, but I just found that employees were in need of this sense of support. And one of the ways employers felt they could do that was, if they didn't have a plan, was put one in place, and if they did, make sure that it was the best that they could provide.
Let's talk about your relationship with a well-known entity, and that's Chamber of Commerce Group Insurance. Graydon, how do you guys work with them? Because I've known of them for a lot of years.
Great question. So we are brokers first and foremost, and we work for our clients. We have many choices in the marketplace. So the Chamber of Commerce, for many, many reasons, is a very unique offering. And in the small to medium-sized marketplace, it really is our preference, which we can chat about. But because of that, because we have the freedom to choose for our clients, and we choose the Chamber most of the time, that really speaks to the benefits of the program and how it works.
Yeah, I mean, a spotless reputation they have, I would say.
Yes.
So it's good to align yourself with them. Shannon, with our last few seconds, you get the last word. Final thoughts for our viewers who may be thinking about what you guys offer.
We will make it work. Regardless of the size, regardless of what you are looking for as an employer, we have something that will suit.
That's excellent. We've been talking to new partners with us. Their first segment, Shannon Jackman and Graydon Bifford from IGL Benefit Consultants, who brought us out here to a wonderful place called the Fortitude Wine Bar in the District 1881 area of Chilliwack. I got to get this one line in. Fortitude Wine Bar, bridging the gap between wine country and the city. Speaking of wine, when the camera goes off, we're all going to enjoy some. But thank you both.
Thank you.
Well dressed as well here today. It's a great segment. We'll see these two again later in the year.
This segment was sponsored by our friends at IGL Benefit Consultants, where the benefits are clear. Sponsorship and other promotional considerations provided by Bosa Foods, authentic Italian, with 2 locations to serve you better. More information, go to bosafoods.com. This segment is sponsored by the Richmond Sentinel, providing news, entertainment, and human interest stories in print and online.
Well, continuing our partnership with our friends at the Richmond Sentinel, and another Richmond story. We're out in Richmond at the location of Drive Motorsports, and we're here with the director of this wonderful establishment, Patrick Lee. Patrick, thank you for having us here right in the middle of this beautiful showroom.
Well, welcome, Jim. Welcome.
Thank you.
This is a place that we've built over the last couple of years, and we want the experience for our clients to be very, very unique.
Well, yeah, we should get into that. You guys have been here, and we're sitting right in the middle of the showroom since 2018. but it kind of grew from your other company in 2015. Let's start there with the other company.
In 2015, we started King's Auto Lease. That's the leasing and financing business, really direct to dealers and clients as well. So we had an office just across the street, and then this grew out of this in 2018. So we had Drive Motorsports was created in 2018 with this first renovations, and then additionally we had the offices and obviously double a showroom.
And it's funny because you are tucked away here, aren't you? Like just off number 3 road, kind of in central Richmond, but because there's no massive amount of cars outside, but obviously people know of you.
Well, we have the showroom is important for us. It gives an experience that's very unique. We have some cars parked outside, but most of the nice cars are parked inside. So all the cars get moved through the night, overnight, and then back into our storage facility. So we don't have a lot of traffic that's off the road. However, once you hear of us, you'll see it and you'll experience us.
Well, let's talk about the experience for your customers. There's so much that you do. As I said, we're going to get into some of the brands that are right near us here that are mouth-watering here. Talk about the experience that you do for someone come in, because you and I were talking before we went on camera about how people like yourself are kind of rewriting or reinventing the wheel, pardon the pun, of what it's like to buy or lease or sell.
For sure. With technology, a lot of people are kind of going towards that route. But having said that, with vehicles, you really want to experience it. Sit in the car, smell that leather, drive it, test it out. So it goes far beyond you make click, 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 I'm going to buy a car. We do obviously leasing and financing that's structured and just for that client. So if they want a shorter term, longer term, it's really tailored for the client. But having said that, the experience is really ultra important for us. Without the experience, we don't have the repeat business. So the relationship is far more important than just that one sale to us.
I should say, being out in Richmond near the airport, you're going to hear that. We're right in the pathway. This gets created in 2018, and we all went through our own version of this. But of course, from 2020 to about 2000, well, even to today, COVID, the lockdown, the economy. How does the economy affect the business that you operate?
With customers looking at buying cars, obviously being in the Lower Mainland, we do have a great transit system. But however, I think people like getting to their cars and getting to work in their cars, or driving on a nice cruise up to Whistler, or heading down south into Seattle. So being in the car, I think is a fun thing to do. It gets your adrenaline going. It's on a nice day like this. It's awesome. So,
Well, let's talk about some of the beautiful vehicles and the models and the brands you have here. One of our segment producers, Neil, who's with us as a car guy, he was drooling all over that Aston Martin behind us. I'm sure he's going to try to steal it, but let's start with that vehicle, and you mentioned some of the other fine brands.
We're not going to call the police on him on that.
Okay, I appreciate that.
We did call his banker to get payment. So. Aston Martin's done a great job, and typically Aston Martins, you're used to the sports exotic vehicle. With this segment, they've come up with a SUV. It's really a bang out car, sport SUV. You can go fast as heck, and the drive and the styling is very, very unique. So Aston Martin's did a very good job on this vehicle.
What about you notice we've got some Lamborghini action as well.
Correct. We have exotic vehicles, as you see, Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Mercedes with an EV as well. They came up with this EQS, which is a full electric vehicle. And we have cars at a lot lower price point as well.
Yeah, we should mention that too. So
we're here to serve clients of all ranges, and not just cars that we have here, and cars from, we can source vehicles for clients as well. So, whatever they want. Cars are very, very passionate in terms of, being in it and driving it. So it's more far-reaching than just 4 wheels and a steering wheel.
Yeah, and I just wanted to touch on something you just mentioned too about some of the things that you do for the customers. As I said, you help them through, you find the vehicle for them, right?
Yeah, a lot of clients are looking for unique vehicles. Sometimes they're very hard to find. Classics are very, very popular these days as well. So, the market's really global now. So it's not just Canada or it's not just BC. It's into the U.S. and we have clients who order vehicles or find vehicles into Europe as well. So,
interesting. Let's talk about. I have to mention Florence, one of our other producers, mentioned these pictures you've got on the wall here. Tell us about those and the fabric.
Well, when we did the design of the showroom, we wanted to be very unique. When it comes to giving the customer a feel in terms of when they're here in the showroom, it's very important. So it wasn't just some gaudy pictures up there, so it was some thought that went into it.
Yeah.
And the black and white kind of textures and the fabric kind of gives it a different feel. So we have another one with a little bit of motion on this canvas as well. So it's a different design, and yeah. So we're not just here to one brand, so we just can't put up a Honda or a Mercedes or a BMW. So.
That's pretty excellent. And do you see expanding in your future, depending on the state? I mean, as I said, the economy can affect everything. So
during COVID, quite surprisingly, people are still buying cars.
yeah.
Over the last 6 to 9 months, we've seen a little bit of increase in interest rates, which has obviously added to the cost of vehicles. But again, we're going to give our best rates to our clients and what fits them. So when it comes to interest rates, it will fluctuate.
Sure. Well, it's another Richmond story, sponsored by our friends at the Richmond Sentinel. And Patrick, it's been great to come out here today, and I'm going to sit in a few of these vehicles before we leave here today.
Please do.
Patrick Lee, you can find out more information. We'll have all his info in the closing credits. Patrick Lee is the director from Drive Motorsports here in Richmond. Patrick, thank you again.
Great.
Pleasure.
Thank you, Jim.
This segment was sponsored by the Richmond Sentinel, providing news, entertainment, and human interest stories in print and online. Closed captioning and other promotional considerations provided by Hamilton High Street Senior Residence, Richmond's newest senior living community.
Well, it looks like it's time to say goodbye.
Yeah, we had a great time with this episode, of course, back here at the Parker Rooftop where we began the show. Great party as well. We hope you enjoyed it. I'm Jim Gordon.
I'm Lita Leapins.
We'll see you on the next edition of Our City Tonight.
While in Chilliwack, Our City Tonight stayed at the newly renovated Coast Chilliwack Hotel by APA, conveniently located in the heart of downtown Chilliwack. Don't forget to check out past episodes and individual interviews, all on the Our City Tonight YouTube channel. The Richmond Sentinel, providing news, entertainment, and human interest stories in print and online.